zoom in on the questions. Oh, there we go. All right, so let me scroll down here, get to the first questions. Sorry, computer's being a little bit slow and laggy for some reason. So hopefully down, it's because they're still flipping. They're just closing the face. They're doing the turning of the handle to square the face, but because they're still flipping, they're just closing the face. So maybe their plane is still it's on plane essentially, but the face is just really closed. So I would look at your swing on video, look from face on, and see if you are releasing this club out in front, where we want to be, about 45 degrees out in front, or are you releasing it early and flipping at contact? Are you coming into contact and you don't have much forward shaft lean? Because if you watch here, if I come into contact and I just flip, right? But if I turn down the handle, like we talked about in the move, if I turn that handle and that's coming from bowing this lead wrist and my trail wrist is going in extension, it's bending back, that's squaring up the face, or in your case, it may be closing the face, and that's causing the big snap hook. So if that is the case, then you may be turning down the handle with your because if you turn the handle down with the trail hand, with the lead hand, and then flip through with the trail hand, if you watch tour players as they come into contact, you're going to see they have that trail hand in that bent back position when they're coming into contact. It's going to feel. But the reality is that it's actually a very strong position because you're de-lofting the face, and which is giving you a lot more power. It's allowing you to transfer more energy to the golf ball. It's like the difference between hitting a 7-iron and in a pitching wedge, right? A pitching wedge has a lot more loft on it, so you're not going to transfer as much energy to it. Your 8-iron has less loft on it. Your 5-iron has less loft than your 8-iron. That's why they go further. That's the main reason why they go further is because of loft there. So that's why I look at it on video. So if you see that you're flipping, then you need to go back to the move and work on getting the club. You may be flipping because the club's not shallowed out. You could be. There's all kinds of reasons why you could be flipping, but I'd be looking at that. If you're flipping, then you need to go back and work through the drills. Try to look at your swing on video. So make sure that you do that. And then make sure that you are shallowing out the club properly. So make sure that you're actually doing the move, and that's what's going on. But if you are over shallowing it, so let's say you are getting that forward shaft lean, everything looks great at contact. The face is just the face is square and everything. It's just that you're swinging just much into out. Then you'll want to go to that last video in the move course to work on that. It's the last or the second to last. And I actually just started using a new feature on the website here. Or let me get this. There we go. So for the office hours, I've been using a software that allows me to share my screen with you, so I can show you exactly the straight line release course. Those are the ones that kind of directly work on it. But you need to make sure that you're nailing all the other parts of the system before you get to that point. So if we go to the instruction tab, let that menu expand. If you hover your mouse over the instruction tab, it will expand the menu there. And then you'll go to the Top Speed Golf system. The move is not a part of the Top Speed Golf system, but it's basically the sixth piece, if you want to call it. You could maybe include it, but it's kind of an advanced course, which is the main reason why we didn't include it is because you really need to be nailing all these other pieces before you do the move, because it's a really important part of it. All right, so you can see the move right here if we click on that. And not sure if you guys are familiar with the navigation of the site, but once you go to a course, you'll see there'll be the course navigation tree here on the right. If you click this little triangle, it'll expand that, and you'll see all the videos. So you see right here, let's scroll down, tennis racket, tour players, hitting a solid draw, stop overhooking, 1.5. That's the one. If you are actually getting forward shaft lean at contact, that's the drill that's the video that you want to work through. It's just going to get you to where you're not shallowing out the club as much. You work so hard to get the club to shallow out. Now you just got your so yeah, sorry if the video is not. Jim just said the video is buffering. Hopefully it's good now. Let me know if it maybe refresh your screen if it's not good now. Hopefully it's good. Not getting any feedback from anybody else regarding that. So anyway, all right. So let me get back to my screen here. I do archive these. So hopefully this is working better. There may be some growing pains as we're just trying out this software to see if it works. So I do apologize if it's not working the best. All right, so next question is from Charlie G. Says, what is the drill where clay uses proper rotation? It's somewhere, but I can't find it. Explain how to use this drill. I think you might be talking about the stick behind the ball drill. So that's a lag drill. So I don't have an alignment stick in here, but if you imagine we take an alignment stick and I hold it on the grip and I have it extending out the other side of the grip. So if I just choke up on this club, you can kind of see what that effect it would have. So I go up to the top and I'm shallowing out this club. So that means I'm getting this club shallowed out. This would be steep. This would be shallowing it out, right? And I'm trying to get this butt end of the club to be pointing it behind the golf ball for as long as possible. Once I get to that point, to where basically it's pointing at the golf ball, then I want to release that out in front. And that's the stick behind the ball drill. So if you want to go work on that drill, you want to go to the Top Speed Lag course. So I can show you that. We go up here, instruction tab, Top Speed Golf System. All right. And if we go to the Top Speed Lag course, we click on that. That's this one right here. And man, this is acting super slow. My computer may not be able to handle the software and live streaming and all that at the same time. So I apologize if it's Don't Mean Golf, same lag here. So yeah, I apologize if it's Don't Mean Golf. Apologize if it's not working real great. So yeah, this will be, I believe that's a level 1 video. Yes, 1.2 from the Top Speed Lag course. That's the stick behind the ball drill. That's the one. And it's just to help you get some more lag. All right. Let's go back to my screen here. There we go. All right, so Al N says, I am taking swings, hitting foam balls. I am using the red swing speed. I'm reviewing all distance videos. I'm focusing in on my 8-iron. I cannot seem to get more than 54 miles per hour. Is this reasonable for someone 77 years old? Any thoughts? I mean, I don't really know as far as your 8-iron speed. I don't know what necessarily be reasonable for a 77-year-old. I would say average. I know more in terms of the driver club head speed. So average driver club head speed for amateur in their 70s, you're probably looking in the neighborhood of 80 miles per hour for a driver, which would probably be roughly 54 for an iron or for an 8-iron. But what I wouldn't recommend doing is trying to go for speed with a certain club like your 8-iron. If you're going for speed with any club, it needs to be with the driver. And if you work through speed with your driver, it will increase all of your clubs. If you increase, it doesn't work in the sense that you work on your club head speed, and it only goes up with one club but not the others. If you're working on your club head speed with your 8-iron and it goes up with your 8-iron, it's probably going to go up with all your other clubs as well. But I would recommend if you're working on speed with anything, I'd work on it with your driver. And if you work on with your driver, it will go up with all your clubs. And if there's a course that you want to work through to do that, it's going to be the 20-minute distance fix course. That's what I highly recommend that you do, is the 20-minute distance fix course. It is by far the best program out there that I know of. I mean, I may be biased, but we've had people that have worked on super speed golf training and other distance protocols. They said they didn't get any gains, or they would get small amount of gains, and then they work through our program and they get big gains. So that's what I'd recommend doing is a 20-minute distance fix. So if you want to get to that, I can show you how to get to it. We make it very easy for you because it's really one of the best things that we have on the website. It's one of the best. This in and of itself is worth your membership by far, is the 20-minute distance fix. So to get to it, just go to the instruction tab at the top of the screen. That will expand a menu. Then click 20-minute distance fix, and it's right there. And you're going to work through all of the pieces, swinging that club lagging and then releasing that lag. That's all a part of the sequence. And then there's going to be the neural adaptation part of it as well, which is basically just getting your body used to swinging hard when you're going through the drills. That's all explained in the drills. If you want to go check it out, if you do anything at all, go through this quick start right here. This quick start 1, the gain serious distance in just 20 minutes. And what this quick start is it's kind of a culmination of a lot of the drills that are in the course. It's like a shortened version of a lot of the drills in the course, because the reason why it's called the 20-minute distance fix is because it's 20 minutes. Every time you go practice, it's 20 minutes over a 3-week program. So you'll have 2 course range sessions where you go 20 minutes, and you'll have a home indoor sessions. And we actually just went in and added indoor modifications to the drill. So in case you guys aren't familiar with this actually went live last night. I think we're going to be sending out an email soon on this. But if you notice, if I scroll down here, you're going to see this QS 1.1 indoor modifications to the quick start. So if you're at home and you can't get to the range because it's closed or for whatever reason, even if we get beyond this coronavirus stuff and you're not able to get to a range, then this is a great alternative for you. Now, it's 100% better to go to the range, but you can get really good gains from working on this at home, right? Because the problem is when you work on things at home, if you're not able to hit a ball, or even if you're able to hit balls but just into a net, you can't always tell what's going on at impact. So you may hit a ball that's a snap hook, but not really know because you couldn't see the ball flight. You just saw like the first few feet of the ball flight. So what we do when we're not able to do that, when we're not able to see the ball flight, is you actually want to visualize different ball flights and try to hit fades and draws and do that. And you're clipping a tee, maybe you're hitting a foam ball, maybe you're hitting a real golf ball into a net. But if you're not able to see these things, then you can work through it in that matter. So all the indoor modifications, because hopefully you're hitting the ball a lot further on your iron shots. I mentioned, as your driver speed goes up, so is your iron speed is going to go up. All your club head speed in general is going to go up and up and up. So highly recommend working through this course. But check this out. All the everything you need is right there. If your one inclination is to gain speed in or to hit the ball further, that's exactly what you want to do, is that 20-minute distance fix. All right, so let's get back. Any questions about the 20-minute distance fix? Highly recommend asking. I'm very the dominant when swinging. I tend to take over too quickly with right hand in the downswing. So what you can do are one-arm swings. There's actually a great drill on the website to work on this. I can show you that here in a second. But basically what I would do is some one-arm swings to kind of strengthen that hand up. And these aren't going to be full speed, full swings. Again, this is something that could be good to do in your house. Like here in my office, if I were to take, I'd probably take a shorter club, be a little bit easier to use. Let me see if I can tear off a piece of paper here and just show you guys. All right, so if I take a piece of paper here and I crumple this up, this is now a practice golf ball. Like it's the cheapest practice golf ball out there. So you don't need to go and buy foam balls or anything like this. If you're just working on the house, just a little crumpled up piece of paper will work. So what I would recommend doing is working on doing some one arm swings. So left hand only swings. And I would line up to a ball just like this and choke up a little bit because it's you know, when you have both hands on there, it's a lot easier, you know, but with one hand, it's you know, it's tough to have the strength to be able to do this. So I'm going to be taking kind of some half swings. I'm just going to go up to about right here, lead arm parallel to the ground, and I'm going to swing through and I'm going to feel what I need to do. So you can tell I hit behind that one quite a bit. So I didn't really get a good weight shift. So I'm just trying to feel. And the good part is when you use a one arm, you kind of have to take your body and swing through. Now I'm kind of up against the wall here and I don't want to hit anything. But basically, you know, I'm just kind of going back and doing some swings there. But you can see how I had to swing all the way through. The mistake that a lot of people make when doing one arm drills, especially kind of in your case, you're thinking, okay, I want to take my right hand out of it. How do I strengthen my lead hand? And you want to do some one arm drills. But the problem is that you need to do both hands. So now I've done my left hand. I know that I'm trying to strengthen this hand, but you need to do some trail hand too, because your trail hand needs to learn impact as well. And this is a great drill because if you're having trouble with your right hand taking over, your trail hand taking over and wanting to flip through, if you do that with this drill, you're going to have issues. You see, I can hit the ball behind the ground there. In order to really be able to hit this solid, I really need to let my body open up and be in this kind of position as I'm coming through, instead of the hips square position where I'm coming in like this, my hips square, and I'm going like that, right? And get my hand in front of contact. You see how my trail hand, it's in a back position and then releasing out here. So that's the feeling that I want to have as I'm doing this slow. And you can see I chunked that one because I'm wanting to do that. So it tells you instantly whether you did it correctly or not. So now I'm going to try it again. Oh, that was much better right there. I got that. I got my body opening up. I got some forward shaft lean there. I hit that solid, got ball first contact. So that's a great drill to do, to work on that. And now that you've got the feeling with each hand, now you can try it with both hands and try to replicate that same kind of thing. I'm going to try to replicate that same feeling of how my trail hand was working through and get that same kind of feeling there, getting some good forward shaft lean working through there. So I would work on that drill. I'll actually find that for you. I'm going to search one arm and see what I find. I don't know if I'll find it, but I'll try. All right, so that's not the one I'm thinking of. That's not it. That's not it. All right, so it's actually a flip video. Now this one's, I'm cheating because I know exactly what the video is that I'm looking for. I'm sure if we would have kept looking, we would have found it. But I believe this is the video I'm looking for. Yeah, so in the thumbnail of this video, you'll see this is the drills to stop your flip in golf, L012. So this is the one you can see kind of in the thumbnail of the video that he's using one arm. It's a little bit hard to tell, but you can tell he's using one arm there. But that's the drill that you want to work on that. So work on each arm individually. And Clay goes through the piece. You really want to make sure that you're using your body to come through and to get your hands leading the way. And if you do that, it kind of teaches you how to use your body a little bit. But you want to get this. You're not going to be able to just do a one arm only, left hand, then right hand, and then all of a sudden going to be able to get right back into it. You need to go left hand, right hand, both hands, but go kind of slow to kind of get the feeling of it and then build up the speed from there. That's a mistake that a lot of people make. They think that just because they do a little drill for 5 minutes, all of a sudden that's going to fix everything. It just didn't work that way. When you crank up the speed, your body's going to naturally do what it wants to do. You're not going to make any change most likely. So it's nothing magical happens when you're doing a 5 minutes of a drill. You have to understand, send the neural pathways to your brain when you're working through this that, hey, this is how I want my body to move when I'm working through, when I'm doing the left hand and when I'm doing the right hand. And then when I put them together, I understand a little bit better about how my body moves. But when I put both hands on the club, I also need to take it slow so that I'm making sure that my body is moving that way. And if you work it slow, and build up the speed, you're going to eventually get to where you're at fast speed. So it takes some time, but you're going to get to where you want to go. So basically, you can't ever get rid of a habit. I say this all the time. You can't ever get rid of a habit in your swing. You can only create new habits that overcome the old ones, right? So you got to think about how much time it takes to form a habit. And they've actually done studies on this, and they find that the average is about 66. So it's anywhere from 28 to like 100 and some days, and the average is something like 66 days. So some habits that are more easy to do are going to be in the 28-day range, and then some habits that are in the more really difficult to do, the most difficult habits to form, are going to be in the hundreds of days, 100 or more days. But I would say, shoot for 66. That's kind of the average. And I would say golf training things in the downswing, especially because you're training your body to do. You have to train your body to do this. It's going to be in the 66 or more range. Something in the backswing, things are moving slower. It's easier to form a habit. Something in the setup, it's going to be on the easy side. Doing that. So, but for something to become fully ingrained where it's automatic and you don't even have to think about it, it's going to take some time and repetition. So make sure that you're putting in that time and understanding, don't give up because you didn't get to where you wanted to and doing the drill for an hour. Like you're scratching the surface. You may hit some great shots, but for that to become fully ingrained, it takes some time. As you notice, as you go through the Top Speed Golf system, we're telling you to do thousands of reps. It's not because we're just trying to keep you busy. It's because it takes a lot of time and repetition to form that new habit in your swing. All right, so let's keep on moving through the questions here. All right, and I apologize for we got a bunch of questions on here now. So I'm sorry about the internet connection. Nothing I can do about it. So. All right, so scrolling down, we got a lot of questions. So since we have a lot of questions on here now, I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. A lot of times I take a lot of time to answer the questions, but I'm going to be moving through them pretty quickly now. So quick and to the point answers. I just got to find my next question. All right, so John A says, I have been struggling with coming over the top. I'm trying to achieve the straight line release. It dawned on me that I had worked my shoulders open. If I set up slightly closed, left foot back so I can swing more, slightly closed, left foot back so I can swing more down the line until I get the feel cause any other issues. The longer the club, especially the driver, the more acute the issue. Well, I would say the more closed off you get, there's definitely a point to where you don't want to be too far closed, because it's going to be hard to get your body opening up and you're going to end up releasing early. Because basically what happens is if your body stalls out and doesn't keep rotating, that club is going to want to release. So if you imagine, if I am swinging this club and I stop my arm, right? If I stop my arm, what is my club going to want to do? It's going to want to flip forward, right? So that's the same thing here. If I set up really, really close, well, I'm going extreme here. I'm guessing you're not this far close. But if I have the golf ball right here, let me angle this down. All right. So if I'm aiming at my socket here, my outlet, and I have my body really, really closed here, and I'm hitting the ball that way, I'm not going to be able to keep rotating my hips into contact. My hips are going to stall out, and I'm going to want to do that and flip, right? That's extreme. And to show you from this angle, if I'm going straight that way, now I really close my stance, and I have my golf ball right here, I'm swinging, and I can't open up anymore. I have to flip to get to the golf ball, and also my body stalls out, so that's going to make the club flip. So you got to find, if you're coming into contact, if you're a little bit closed off, and that's helping you to swing more into out, and you're able to release this club out in front and get some good forward shaft lean, and everything's good, then that's completely fine. Let the results speak for themselves there. But basically, I'm saying you can get to where you're swinging too much into out. You can get to where your body's not opening up enough. You can't release the club out in front. There's several issues there that can arise. But if the contact is good and you're getting the club release out in front, you're getting some forward shaft lane compression, I would say you're in pretty good shape. All right. So next question here. So Jim S says, as a level 1 certified TSG student, I am all in with Clay's instruction. However, I have a little problem with the shallow divot concept. This is the opposite of the videos of the most shots seen on tour. Instructors like Adam Young and Bobby Clampett. Any thoughts? However, I'm a little with the shallow divot concept. This is the opposite of videos of most shots seen on tour. Instructors like Adam. So I would actually not agree with that. As far as most shots on tour, pretty much every shot that you see on tour, other than some wedge shots, you're going to see a pretty shallow divot. I mean, go to YouTube and look at driving range footage of tour players. You're going to see them taking that top layer of the turf off. So a shallow divot, just by definition, and also if you look online and the average angle of attack, which is something that drives a lot of how this divot is, how this divot comes in, is roughly 3 degrees down for like a 3-iron, and then it goes all the way down to like 5 or 6 degrees down on average for tour for like a wedge, like a pitching wedge. So if you think about it, that's pretty shallow. 1 degree or 6 degrees on a clock, that's 1 minute. So 1 minute on a clock is 6 degrees. So if you imagine 1 minute, that's like the average of what a tour player is hitting down on the ball. That's very, very little. So it's very, very shallow. And basically what they're doing is they're coming in and they're taking kind of that top layer of the turf off. They're taking a divot. We're not saying they're not taking a divot. We're saying that it's pretty shallow as they're coming in. So there's no tour players out there that are coming in and just coming and chopping down into the golf ball. That's just not happening. Now there are some players that take deeper divots than others. And you will see some tour players hit more spin on it. But on your typical shot where it's not like a distance wedge, like your typical full swing shot, they are taking a shallow divot. It's not going to be a big time divot. But yeah, I tell you, go watch. I'm not familiar with what Bobby Clampett says about it, or necessarily what I've read Adam Young's book, which is a fantastic book. Adam Young's a very, very bright instructor. But yeah, I guess I haven't read a ton about what he talks about with shallow or deep divots. I mean, are you saying that they're saying you should take a deep divot? I guess I'm confused about that a little bit, but yeah, you want to be taking a shallow divot. You don't want to be coming down and chopping down into the golf ball, because it takes away your distance, because you're just chopping down. It's more of a glancing blow. If you hit down on it, the more it's degrees on average. Like I said, some do hit a little bit further down on it, but typically it's pretty shallow. I hope you are recording. Yeah, so Jim S.A., I hope you are recording for playback later as video is buffering and not live. So I do apologize for that. The software that we're using, it may be bogging down my computer. It could be the internet connection. I don't know that I've had any problems with this software yet. But my computer fan is on and buzzing like the entire time, and it was not doing that before. So I think the program itself that I'm using is hogging a little bit of my CPU. So that may be slowing things down. But I am at home, so my internet connection, especially with everyone at home and using the internet, it's not surprising that there would be some internet throttling going on. So fortunately, there's not a lot I can do about that. But we do archive these. If you ever want to go watch an archived office hours, I can show you exactly where you can go do that. So to watch an archived office hours, all you got to do is go to the office hours tab at the top, go to office hours highlights, click on that. And yeah, it's definitely working slow. And then you'll scroll down here. There you go, office hours archive, and then you'll see a video will come up here with the highlights. So this is from yesterday, April 8th. And then if you click on this, there's 200 on there right now. So you could have a week's worth of office hours to watch if you really wanted to. So yeah, but it's being slow, so I do apologize. But you can watch all the archived office hours right there. All right, let's go back to my screen. So I apologize for all the cutting in and out. Hopefully that gets better. Let me see something here. So it's not telling. All right, so I think it's fine. May not be able to use this software, so thanks for the feedback, everybody. All right, I think it's cool to be able to share my screen, but man, if it hogs a lot of maybe we can find another program that allows me to do picture-in-picture. All right, we mainly use this one because I wanted to do green screen. So this software has a green screen program in it where I bought a green screen. I was going to do green screen. And I thought it'd be cool to be able to show you like tour players videos, but I guess I was pretty naive to think that I could get green screen to work. I don't have any experience with it. And apparently it requires like perfect lighting and all this stuff and a lot more space. And I back to too far in my backswing and pull up out of my stance, cut my wrist and go across the line. Any suggestions to work on this? Anything less seems like a loss a ton of distance. Thanks, and have a happy Easter. Easter. Thanks, Patrick. You probably just need to go work on the stable fluid spine course. Yeah, if your turn is taking you to where you have to go like this and come up out of your posture, you're turning too much, right? You want to turn to stay in your posture. You need to retain that spine. You're not going to swing any slower by just turning your shoulders as much as you can without coming out of your posture. You will lose distance if you come up out of your posture too much because you're going to have a hard time hitting it in the center of the face. You're going to tend to you're just going to have a lot of trouble hitting it in the center of the face. It's going to be you're going to be hitting it off the toe, off the heel. It's just going to be hard to be very consistent when you do that. You're typically going to come over the top and lose distance that way. So if you stay in your posture, you're not only not going to hurt your distance per se as far as club head speed, but it's also going to allow you to more efficiently strike the ball, which is going to help you to hit the ball further overall. So I would recommend making sure that you're staying in your stable fluid spine, which is going to be the stable fluid spine course. If you want to go work on that, I'd highly recommend working on the stable fluid spine course. The nose behind the ball drill, I think, is going to be a really good one for you. So what you're doing in that drill is you have a club on the ground that's basically in the middle of your stance here, and you're going to go up to the top, and you're going to keep your nose behind that, right? So if I go in early, if I get like this, my nose is going ahead of it, right? So if I stay behind it, then I'm in that good spine angle. And then I'm going to come down to contact, and I'm going to be behind it. And then after contact, I'm going to let my nose go ahead of it and go all the way through into the full finish. So that's a great drill to work on staying in better posture there. Now, if you're having trouble, I would make sure that you're freeing up your hips. You know, if it's really restricting your turn, like not being able to go like that, you're probably restricting your hips. So let the hips turn. Do not restrict the hips. If you restrict your hips, you'll restrict your shoulders, and then you'll tend to want to go like that, right? To get more speed, or to get more range of motion. So make sure you're turning your hips, right? Make sure you're turning your shoulders. If you're doing that, then you're going to be able to get some good speed and distance out of it. So it's hard to tell exactly what's going on without seeing your swing. But hey, if you want to work with me, if you want to go work on that stable fluid spine video that I was talking about, if you are freeing up the hips and everything's good, you just need to work on staying in your. Man, it's really slow. Yeah, I'm guessing the internet is just being throttled right now. Unfortunately, there isn't, because it's been working fine. Either that or my wife is watching Netflix or something. Because she is home too. Yeah, she's a teacher, so they're doing online learning. So if you go to the Stable Fluid Spine course, I believe it's in level 1. The nose behind it might be level 2. I think it's level 2. Yep. So 2.1 from level 2, athletic golf swing, nose behind the line, nose behind the ball, nose behind the line, same difference. You can also just search nose behind and you'll find it. If you want to do swing reviews, all you got to do is click the get a review. Welcome to ask them on here as well. But we have 3 instructors now doing swing reviews, and a lot of people are doing the swing reviews, which is why we haven't had spots available. Man, it is slow. Man, I'm sorry this is so slow, guys. They must be just, I'm guessing my internet's getting throttled, so I apologize. All right, yeah, so if you scroll down, you'll see, back to my page here. Scroll down, you'll see everything to learn about unlimited swing reviews. You'll also see testimonials, FAQ. If you scroll all the way down the bottom, you'll see where you can sign up. So doesn't look like Robin's got any spots available. I don't have any spots available. And Chris does. Chris is our new instructor. Really good guy. Really great golfer. If you look at his attributes here, he's qualified for the Senior U.S. Open. He's won the Texas Senior Open twice. He's scored a 59. I think that was even in a tournament. He's won 6 times on the Champions Tour. So definitely a really great player there. So if you're looking for instruction from probably the best player on our team, he's probably the best golfer on the team, I would say, on our team. So, but yeah, join the waiting list so you can get notified in the future whenever we get spots available. Out getting stuck behind in the swing. When I do the move, I am sure I don't do it correctly and get too far or behind or slow my arms or something. So what you want to make sure that you're doing, there's a difference between shallowing out the clubs and shallowing out the club and shallowing out your hands or your arms. When I see people shallow the club, a lot of times the first thing that they do is they'll go like that. See where my hands are? This you're going to get stuck if your hands are back here. You need to get your hands here. I'm talking about shallowing the club, not your hands. Most people have their hands in a pretty decent spot. Unless they're coming over the top, their hands may be coming out like that. But most people have their hands in a relatively, it's just that the club is steep. So they're here, right? They're in a pretty good position with their hands, but the club is steep. It's like that. So what you need to do is you need to shallow out the club, not your hands, the club, shallow out the club. And that comes from what we call turning the doorknob to the right. So if you imagine, if I'm holding a doorknob here with both hands, I'm turning that to the right. It's looking like it's probably to the left from your perspective, but from my perspective here, when I'm coming down, I'm turning that doorknob to the right. That's shallowing the club, not that. That's shallowing out the club. If you do that, you're going to get stuck. My elbow is kind of getting back behind me. So I focus on turning the doorknob to the right. If you're right-handed, if you're left-handed, it's going to be turning the doorknob to the left, right? Left-handed, turning the doorknob to the left. If you're right-handed, it's turning the doorknob to the right. And you're going to have this club kind of out here, not back here, out in front of your body here a little bit more. So that's going to get you to where you're shallowing out the club correctly. Focus on keeping that elbow kind of ahead. There's a seam on your shirt right here. Focus on keeping that elbow ahead of that seam of the shirt. If it gets behind you, now you're stuck. So shallow the club, not your hands. Get that elbow coming in to the body. All right, so let's keep on going up. So James N says, for grip, I've heard the palm of the trail hand should always be lined up with the club face? If so, does that mean that as the lead hand rotates to either a weak or strong grip, that the trail hand doesn't move? No, I mean, it can. Basically, the foundation of a solid grip is with your trail hand is just to take, that seam that goes into your hand right here. So if I put my pinky and my thumb together, that's going to create a seam in my hand there. See how there's a crease between my peg right where it goes. Now you can have a strong trail hand grip if you want, if that works better for you, and you can have a weak trail hand grip if that works better for you. Really, the grip, it just comes down to you need to use a grip that allows you to put as much force into the handle as you can and allows you to get the club into a proper impact position and have grip security and control of the club. So a lot of people really overcomplicate your wrist. Take that butt end of the club and kind of put it next to it like that. You don't want to have it like that on it because that's going to be too much in the palms of my hand. That's going to be more like a putting grip. I'm not going to be able to control the club. See, I don't even have my pinky. I have my pinky like barely on it. I can't really hold the club in a very good position. I'm also not going to be able to pretty close to in line with the top of my hand there. And I got that club's kind of going along the butt end of my butt end of the grip there. The wrist bone is right there, right along, just to the inside of that. And that's the grip. That's the grip with the lead hand. That's all I would do. I wouldn't make it any more complicated than that. As far as having a weak or strong grip, that's really personal preference. I basically tell most people you probably want to have more of a neutral to strong grip because it's easier to square up the face. If you're having trouble squaring up the face, you're leaving the face open, then you may want to go to a stronger grip if you're leaving the face open. If you're having trouble and you're always closing the face too much, a weaker grip might be better for you, So it's about finding what works best for you. Whether you use an interlock, overlap, or 10-finger grip, that's completely up to you. You can play great golf with a 10-finger grip. Scott, I think his last name is Piercy. Scott Piercy, tour player, great tour player, excellent ball striker, uses a 10-finger grip. You can play fantastic golf with a 10-finger grip. So don't look at a 10-finger grip and think you can't play good golf. If you hit the ball better with a 10-finger grip, then use a 10-finger grip. All the same rules apply. And then the trail hand, I would just take it. I think the easiest way to do it is just to take that crease that you form and put it right on top of your thumb. That helps everything kind of meld together, and it gives you great control of the club, and you're also able to maneuver it really well and be able to put a lot of force and pressure into that handle. If you have it too strong, your trail hand too strong, you may want to get it too involved and want to rip it over. If you have it too weak, you may not be able to use it properly. You may leave the face open. So use what works best for you, but I would just follow those principles. And then if you want to play around with it within that, that's completely fine, but make it results driven. It has to give you better results. I wouldn't just listen to what some guy says in a video and just say that I'm going to try that, even though there may not be anything wrong with your grip. I would just stick to the principles there. They're the most important, and then everything else will fall into place a lot more easily if you do that. If you really try to get into the little details, focus on the things that are really, really important. And that's going to get you way further. If you just get too much into the details, focus on the things that are really, really important. You'll get much better results. All right. So Jim, sorry about the buffering. There's nothing I can do about it. Unfortunately, the internet is just slow right now. I'm guessing just because everyone's home and everybody's on it. So not a lot I can do. I apologize. So Johnny H says, can you recommend any drills to keep the tilt in your spine away from the target throughout your backswing? Yes, work through level 2 of the stable fluid spine. That's what I would recommend. All of those drills are going to be helping you to stay more angled away throughout the swing, or basically working through level 2 and level 3 are going to be helping you with that. So I actually think I have that up right here. So that's going to be all these ones. Work through all those. Those are all going to help you to maintain your spine angle in the downswing. Yep. So I'd recommend working on those. To get to this, click the instruction tab or right here, or hover your mouse over it. That'll expand the menu. Click Top Speed Golf System, then click the Stable Fluid Spine course. Really easy. Yep, those are all the drills I'd recommend working on. All right. Let's keep on going up. Your internet connections are intermittent. Thomas, I apologize, man. Thanks for letting me know. But yeah, I'm sorry the internet isn't. So Jim S says log out and log back in. Thanks for the feedback. So James N saying no video lag at all. Could be your local provider. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. It may not be. It's usually when my internet is throttling, YouTube will tell me. It'll show a little message saying it's slow or whatever. And it did that at the beginning, but then it hasn't done it since, from what I can tell. So Sean R says, are you familiar with Right Balance? Sorry, I'm not familiar with that. Local Pro fitted me, and it seemed more on grip size and stance, unlike the TSG system. Guess more just wanting to make sure nothing would conflict with going through TSG, but he did give me a tip on feeling like I keep my back towards the target longer to prevent me from opening my shoulders. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Right Balance, so I can't really comment on that. I don't know if it would interfere with the Top Speed Golf System or not. All right, so Jim S says, Q, check out Bobby Clampett's test results in the impact zone and low point tested results. I certainly am not saying a steeper angle of attack, just where and how much of a divot. Thanks for the replies. Bobby was way before your time, but still teaching on West Coast. Like 4 or 5 inches in front of the golf ball for a tour player. So low point and divot. The divot, typically the low point is going to be about in the middle of the divot, typically. So, and we're not saying that it's typically what's happening is when you're taking a divot, and the best players in the world, what's happening is that the club is coming down, right? And the hands are moving up. So when that happens, when the club moves down and the handle moves up, it kind of creates a little bit of a flat spot. Now it's not going to be flat like a tabletop. It's going to be a huge arc. It's still going to be an arc, but it's just a much impact. So there's all kinds of reasons why you may not be opening up your body, but the number one reason I see, it's probably people who struggle with getting the body open at impact. I would say 50% of them are coming down steep. So it's pretty much and it's like there's all kinds of other reasons that kind of make up the rest of the 50%. But most of the time it's because they're coming down steep. So when you see that you're coming down steep, meaning this butt end of the club would be pointing most likely inside the golf ball. You can be pointing outside the golf ball and still be steep. So if you're like this and the butt end of the club's pointing outside the golf ball, you're still steep right here. It's mainly about if you draw the line, the impact plane line, which goes from the hosel of the club up through the trail elbow. If you see that club working above that, is you're going to stand up to get this club to be on plane. You may come over the top. You may come down, continue to come down steep, and as you're going to stand up when you're coming down to get that club to come back on plane. When you stand and kind of thrust your hips toward the golf ball, you can't rotate. So that's probably the biggest reason why. So if you want to work on that, that's going to be the move course. The easiest way to get to the move course is I can show you real quick. Hopefully this doesn't crash my computer. But you go to the instruction tab, then click the Top Speed Golf System. It's the Top Speed Golf System, and then you scroll down. You'll see the move course right here. If you click on that and get started, that's going to get you to where you're shallowing out the club and then squaring the face more properly in the downswing. All right. So I'll answer a couple more here. So Robert D says, watch the series on early extension. Is it safe to say that impact, we want the hips open 45 degrees to the target, chest open 30 degrees, and shoulders open 20 degrees? Thanks that's what it looks like, but Clay never actually says that. Yeah, those are all pretty good ranges. So typically your average tour player is going to be in 40 to 50 degrees with the hips. And that's to the target line. So if you imagine, that's in relationship to the target line. So if my target line is basically my toe line, essentially, if I have my toes on the target there, so my hips would be about 45 degrees open. 40 to 50 is what you're going to see the average tour player. The chest is going to be, so if you're looking at it from this angle, my chest is going to be about 20 to 30 degrees open for the average tour player, somewhere in that range. And then the shoulders aren't the same as the chest because shoulders can move independently of the chest. See, I can protract and retract my shoulders here, and my chest is staying the same, right? So my shoulders are going to be about 10 to 12, around 10 degrees open. 10 to 15 is what you're going to see a tour player typically, somewhere in that range open. They can be square, but that's typically what you're going to see is about 10 to 15 degrees open. So hips, 40 to 50. Chest, you're going to see about 20 to 30. And then shoulders, you're going to see around 10 degrees, somewhere in that area. All right. Let's see if we got any more questions. When should I replace my wedges? My 60 has lost the small grooves, but larger grooves seem okay. Basically, when the grooves get all the way worn down is when you should replace them. So it sounds like you should replace them to me. Because basically, if your grooves get all the way worn down and they don't have, there's not enough space in there for debris and everything to get down in there, then you're not going to get as much spin on them. So some cleaner grooves and some deeper grooves in a newer club may help you get a little bit more spin. Keep in mind, you don't have to replace it. You just may have a little bit less spin than you would if you had a newer club. But if you're looking to get more spin on your shots, getting some new wedges can help with that, because the grooves are going to be a little bit deeper, most likely, from not being worn down as much, and they're also going to be a little bit sharper and cleaner. So Jim S says, I would bet a lot of the lag is due to all the internet activity due to virus and everyone at home using it at the same time. Yep, that's exactly what I was saying. I'm guessing my internet's being throttled because of so many people using it. All the people on Netflix and everything. So Jim S, and I'll answer a few more here. Johnny H says, Q, you're the man. Thank you, bro. No problem. Glad I could help, Johnny. All right, so one more question here from Johnny, or for Jim S, excuse me. Jim S says, about the nose behind the line, I made an aid, took a 2x4 and 10-inch long, painted the top yellow, one side red and the other side white, set the thing on the ground, and with the red side pointing upward, white side. With that drill, you can try what Jim did with the two, paint the sides of it. Yeah, that's a great way to be able to do it. All right, so thanks everybody for joining me. We'll be back here tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Everybody have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you next time. Maybe I can get out of this.